Hello and welcome to the podcast, but on a different day. It's the same chaos, but we're down a person.
And in a different day and a different time.
Yeah.
Different timeline.
The different timeline podcast.
Different places.
Also, this is going to be further proof that Naomi is the one person that stops all podcasters sending into absolute, inconceivable chaos. So hi.
Good luck.
And good luck watching this. But how are you guys? Did you guys miss DnD as much as I did? It felt weird only doing one session last week.
It felt weird doing not doing this at a Sunday session.
Yeah. It also felt even weirder because Dave wasn't there, so it felt like it felt very mishmash slightly. So it was a case of it didn't feel like a proper session. So it feels like it's been like a whole week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm actually.
It's saying that a lot happened.
Yeah. I didn't actually think I'd notice it or miss it as much as I did, but my gosh, I just realised we started the podcast with tiki music.
What better way to start it?
Yeah. It reflects our mood for today.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, I didn't think I'd notice or miss it as much as I did. But yeah. So we only have one podcast to talk about on this podcast. Nailing it, absolutely nailing it. Only one session to talk about this podcast. How was your experience with, this session overall? What were your feelings?
There were some interesting moments. It was a mixed mash of different emotions, basically.
Yeah. Everyone had different plans to do. Some of them worked, some of them were unexplained, some of them went very badly wrong and could lead to dire consequences for us in the future.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we've seen someone's
at the door. There's somebody at the door.
Who is it? Will we find out? I'm tempted just to wait here and see,
Alright, what do we talk about while we're waiting? We're live in front of people.
The economy.
Oh god, no.
Oh jeez. But no, seriously,
what were you gonna say?
I don't fucking know. But seriously, I really did miss D&D more than I thought I would.
Yeah, same. Yeah, well, I kind of had a bit. I don't think I miss it as much because even though Dave was ill, which was the reason he couldn't really do his subathon as well as the session, he still texted me and said oh, let's fix Boy's backstory. So we were just sitting for an entire... Yeah, even no rest for the wicked. So he just immediately messaged me at 3 a.m. as he does and just says, hey, let's sort out Boy a bit because I have a plan as usual and I think I'm going to add something to your character to make them more interesting. I'm like, okay, thank you.
This is what we're doing now, that's fine.
Yeah.
Was it anyone interesting at your door, Carmen?
It was someone for charity, but I'm not the owner of the house and I'm not the oldest one in the house. So I can't make the decision.
So they aborted the mission and just...
Yeah.
So
I said, no, I'm not the person you're looking for. Bye. Yeah, no.
It's like, I am just a youth. Leave me alone.
I am not the person you're looking for.
That was always like, when people phone you and they're like, the accident that you had a week ago. I'm like, I didn't have an accident.
Yeah.
My response was always, I'm 13.
So, the accident you had? Oh, I don't really. Could you explain what happened, please?
That's what I do now. I'm like, my accident?
While you're paying for this call.
Oh, yes, my accident. I have no clue what it is, but tell me about it.
I am an accident, but...
Oh, yes, the accident that my son tragically died in.
Yeah. Me of the ripe old age of 20 and my son who is a ripe old age of 14. Please tell me how he was causing the accident.
Okay.
Anyway, D&D.
We don't speak about her here.
No.
The D&D podcast.
In this D&D podcast, we do not talk about D&D. Don't even.
We actually don't. We just ramble for a bit.
Yeah.
God, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen Raina being the one to initiate trouble. Because I think we've seen Kaya and obviously Hattie. Jesus, Hattie. Kaya, Hattie. I think even Snipe and Seymour have poked a bear at some point, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But up until now, Raina's kind of been reasonable one with at least a teaspoon of common sense. What pushed her to kind of take such a drastic decision, if you know what I mean?
I think it was a part of her was like more like curious about like who killed those people, because they were allowed to use the teleportation circle in exchange to find out like this murder case, who murdered them. So she's like, well, I'm not good with inspecting dead bodies and see what's happening with like the intestines and everything and bruises, and so she's like, well, I know a thing and I could use it, but I know it's frowned upon. Okay, let's try to get this person out of here and let's try to do it as quickly as possible, basically. So she's like, okay, I'm not good at inspecting dead bodies, but I can talk to them. Yeah, okay, that's the option.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's because like she's there to help them.
Yeah.
Because they helped us with getting to Scornabel. She's like, well, I'm gonna take the easiest route to get to where I want to go.
Yeah, you guys asked me to help out, and this is how I'm gonna help out. Yeah.
It didn't feel like purposefully causing trouble. It felt like, well, this is how to do it properly, and then midway through it we realized, oh wait, shit, this probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Purposefully causing trouble was Hattie asking for biscuits and then getting jam in the dead people's hair.
And then also asking about like corruption in the organization and shit.
Indoctrination.
And indoctrination. I'm like, oh, that's not really a good thing
it's
to
a good
bring
question.
up.
Like how loyal are the people who are loyal? You know, is there kind of a process in which people have been known to kind of give everything to them and expect nothing in return? Is it kind of a cult situation? Like, it's fine if it is, none of my business. I just want to know the likelihood in which one of your people wanting to make this organization look bad.
Yeah, I think in combination with like when Lila asked us to like not disturb the dead, and we did, and then you asking about indoctrination, that was just a fucking awful combination. Because we already like did something she asked us not to do, like the one thing she asked us not to do, and then you also asked about indoctrination, and she was like, well, fuck off then, because this is not what I like.
No, we fucked it, I think is the technical term.
I think we pushed the limits. Because we pushed the limits on talking to the dead and disturbing the dead, and then we also pushed it on like the sensitive topics within any organization.
Well,
we done fucked it.
But we do have information.
Yeah, we do.
So we have we have a place where we can go to.
Not that I can remember any of that information, because as the meme goes, I forget things like a cool person rather than writing things down, being uncool.
Well, we asked like, what is the last person you've seen, or who's the last person you've seen before you ended up in a river? He said a shadow. They struck without warning. Cloaked
killed
at night.
in the eastern field.
Yeah, in the cavern in the eastern field.
It was like
a voice.
Or something.
A voice that false would be punished. I believe.
The false will be punished for their cruelty.
Yeah.
Is what I got.
Talar Malar, caravan leader of Estegon.
False will be punished for their
cruelty.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Raina
I am curious as to what's going on, though. It is the thing. I'm purposely, as a player, I'm curious. Although as a character, I couldn't give a flying fuck about what's going on in this place. Like, Snipe's just happy to be in Scornabel right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Hattie's happy. Well, there we
Happy
go.
Is Hattie.
Hattie is happy. Happy is Hattie.
It's a tongue twister. Hattie is curious on the basis of how it could relate to Candlekeep, but as a player, I'm like so interested in like what's going on and stuff. You know?
I would love to go back and like basically talk to another of those dead people, just to ask if they give sort of the same answer.
Just to really hit the final nail in the coffin for us.
Just to get
sneak back in and then do exactly the same thing.
No, it's not like Raina wouldn't do it, because it's like, okay, fuck, we just fucked up. We got basically kicked out of a morgue. Just like fuck off. So they so she's like, no, I don't want to. I would not go back and try it again. But me as a player would love to go back and ask another questions.
Yeah.
To their people. Person.
Yeah. I'm also, speaking of things that we're curious about, I'm curious about what's going to happen to the book in 30 days that Hattie left at the inn.
The book that you spent 30 minutes trying to hide.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're lucky Ardius is with us. Because if he were at home and it would explode just while he's there, he would probably immediately know.
It's like 30 days, so he could get home
Yeah.
within the 30 days.
I'm curious as to like if they would bother, because that should be against the point of like returning a book.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you couldn't return the book, well now you'll never return the book because it is now ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious what will happen if it's explosion of ink or burning or it just. I'm curious what will happen.
Yeah.
I would be curious if it just like got up and walked back to the library.
Done.
Just had his own legs.
That would be incredible, and I now want that to be a thing. Janks.
Walking books.
Walking books, please.
Walking books. Discworld this
books.
bitch.
Speaking of Discworld books, or rather, speaking of Janks, you just like put that word into my head, and it was the only thing I could say. Questions from Janks. Okay.
Oh yeah.
What was Hattie's thought process going through the meeting with the Master Healer? What were her preconceived notions about the Cloister of the Tear? Fuck, I should have looked into the Cloister of the Tear beforehand. Hattie kind of sees them as like a weird version of Candlekeep with less purpose, if you know what I mean. Like, they have power but for no reason, if you know what I mean. Whereas
the equivalent of saying a library has more purpose than a hospital is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Not in that way, like, they're like a hospital, but like they're weirdly powerful for a hospital. They're not like Candlekeep. The purpose of Candlekeep having power is to share knowledge, spread knowledge, discover more about the world that we're in, rather than like in out or out in, which is like only 50% in or 50% out. Yeah, it's to spread knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas the Cloister of the Tear seem to have lots of power as a hospital, and like Hattie's perspective is that they should be kind of less powerful, if you know what I mean.
I think
like it's their purpose is to heal people and be there for people, not to like be a massive organization that can like impact the world in the way. I feel like I need to know about the Cloister of the Tear more, but I feel like my understanding of what the Cloister of the Tear is the same level as Hattie's understanding as to what they are. But yeah, she's just kind of like, well, you're a hospital, why are you so powerful?
Yeah, I think it's interesting for Hattie because Hattie is really like, she probably grown up with like knowledge for knowledge, basically trading knowledge for knowing something more about the world, and people just giving out healing in exchange for power is a weird combination in Hattie's head.
Yeah,
like giving basically a place where people can get healed and get basically better from being sick, in exchange for getting power in like the saying what's going on in the city or town, is a weird combination.
Yeah. But for like the thought process of meeting the Master Healer, which is the reason why she asked the indoctrination question, was kind of, are you a cult?
Yeah.
Like, but really, are you a cult kind of question?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the thought process was. Hi Ed, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Yeah. Naomi isn't here, so this is absolute chaos. You're welcome.
I'm glad that we're all slightly on the same page in that we're hugely distrustful towards the Cloister. Like we like, even though they say, oh, there's a murder going on, it's like, yeah, but we think it's coming from inside your organization.
And even if it isn't, the fact that they could get wrapped up in something like this
says something
is
about
weird
the organization
in itself, you know. Like a normal hospital wouldn't get like targeted by like a smear campaign, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically what, like, sure, people are dying, but it's basically just a smear campaign.
Yeah. And I'm curious if it doesn't, like, if the person who does this shit, it doesn't come from the inside of the Cloister of the Tear, which organization it would be, like, which beef they would have with the Cloister of the Tear.
Keep like, whoops.
Yeah. Well, I mean, their theory as to like who could possibly be killing them, like they say it's a monk about the long death or whatever it is, but then like them giving us information about the long death doesn't make sense for why, like, because they say, oh, the long death, like they're just a cult that like pursues the fascination of death, so they don't really target people except for whoever they come across. But it seems ironic that of all the bodies that have been killed so far, they're all caravan leaders. Like that's not the act of a random attack. Like it's organized. So it's basically they're lying or they're covering something up.
There's a purpose behind it,
And also they have, of course, like the hands bound with the red cord. So that's also not something those people, those monks would do.
Which, to be fair, is kind of
almost like a double bluff.
I don't know whether it is a double bluff or like
a triple bluff.
Just weird, you know.
Either way, the shadiest shit.
It do be shady though. It do be shady.
I think if it just were people that were washing up on shore dead, then it wouldn't have been that much of a big deal. Like if it just would be that people washing up on shore, it would still raise questions, but it wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Yeah, because it's
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Ed has said, as a player in these types of situations, I always look for the local idiot. They usually slip up and drop some information. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, now that you said it out loud, Janks is going to have no local idiots. We are now the local idiot.
we are as low on the intelligence scale as it gets.
Yeah. It's also interesting because the Ilmatar is called the Crying God, the Broken God, the Lord of the Wreck, the one who endures, the Wreck Broken Lord. Like it's all. That's very interesting.
Well, Carmen, here's a question for you from Janks. Assuming that was Raina's first time casting Speak with Undead, had she seen anyone cast that spell before? In what context? And how does she feel about the results? Was it morbid fashion? I'm gonna go with one question at a time because this is a lot. Has she seen anyone cast it before?
I think she might have, but then, like, it might have been like one of her old friends from inside Waterdeep when she was learning to become a cleric. I think it might have been someone who she looked up to and might have like messed around with, who she has seen cast Speak with that before. So I think, I'm not quite sure because it's something that's pretty frowned upon by the entire world basically, and especially like the clerics. So it might have been like one of those spooky secret little meetings that happened to get some information out of a dead body, and she might have attended to it because she's curious about that kind of stuff.
Or hid behind a bookcase or something and watched it.
Yeah, but I don't think she has seen it up close before. So it's also a part of like the curiosity of like, what does it do? I've seen it before once or twice, but I'm curious what it actually does when I do it myself.
Just to make everyone feel better, Ed just said every group has an idiot. I should know. I'm the idiot chief, at least in my group. Quick question for wow.
I think you answered it already.
I appear to have lost my English. Who is the character, not player? Don't call me out like this. Who is the character idiot in our group?
Seymour.
See, I was gonna say like not having than Seymour because well, I don't know. Well, like, there's a difference between like purposefully fucking up and like actually being an idiot.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, Jesus Christ! I think Hattie's on that list.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Hattie's not. But Hattie's not an idiot. Is the thing.
No.
Really? Like, she has like a minus one intelligence or something.
Well, still she knows a lot, and like she is somebody who was of the drive where it's like, I don't know, so I'm going to find out. So there is motive behind what she's doing, but it's on the side of just like not knowing what's going to happen. So I just want to experiment. So it isn't an intelligent way of dealing with things. Mm-hmm. But then there's like purposefully fucking up when you know you shouldn't have.
Yeah, and I think Hattie is aware enough that she's basically being an idiot, but she knows she personally isn't an idiot, but she's acting like an idiot.
Yeah.
So she has the conscious.
Do your characters know that? Do they just think she's an idiot, or do you think they know that she kind of puts it on a little bit?
I think Snipe suspects it, but then again, Snipe suspects a lot of things from everyone. So So snipers are the thing where it's like, if
coming
this is
in with the hard sus, eh?
yeah, well, snipers just like, if this is an axe, then goddamn, you're good at it, because
Yeah.
you're really good at just like convincing snipe that, oh god, what the fuck just happened? Like
Yeah.
situations occur naturally.
I think Reina knows that because like you're basically putting up a front because she is someone who has done it before herself.
Yeah.
So she would probably see through it, and also she has a 17 of passive insight of 17. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
She definitely knows then. Yeah, I think Seymour. It's like that thing where it's a case of the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? The road to being an idiot is paved with good intentions. Like his thing is always like he's trying to do best by the people he considers his family. He's really family orientated, but that involves selling his soul. So like.
Yeah, I think it's a case where it's like he does know.
Mood.
Yeah, he does know deep down what the fuck he's done, but he still attempts to try and fuck with what he's done. Like everything is in position to say don't do that because it will kick you in the arse later. But he still thinks, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I think also, like I said about Hattie, I think Seymour's quite the opposite.
You gotta call mid-session. Becca's got a call on stream.
Okay, well, let me continue my sentence.
Yeah,
I think
continue.
I think Seymour like is the opposite to Hattie. I think Hattie puts on a front, but Seymour is very honest about everything. So when he acts like an idiot, he is actually being an idiot, basically.
Yeah.
And when
Big
Kaya
energy.
and when Hattie is being an idiot, she puts up a front of being an idiot. So I think there is a very big difference between Seymour and Hattie.
Yeah, Seymour knows. I think Seymour has tested time and time again, like the limits of what he can do, but he still returns to trying them again. Whereas, like, it constantly repeating the same thing again and again and again is either a mark of an idiot or a mark of insanity.
Yeah.
I doubt that Seymour is insane.
Yeah.
There's a very thin line between insanity and idiocy. Idiocy. Thank you.
Fine line between madness and genius. In that case, it's a fine line between madness and idiocy.
Yeah.
I feel like he tripped up once by making the deal, and then he's trying to make it better by continuously poking it. Or if there's another issue, he tries to make it better by... Sorry, I apologise about that. What I was hoping it was a phone call for, like, have you had an accident? That's what I was hoping. It wasn't. It was actually a serious phone call. Quickly resolved, but that's why I picked up the phone. I wasn't just being an arsehole and being rude.
That's alright.
A comedy effect that didn't work.
I will say on the point of like talking about Seymour, it's something I've just missed talking about because I always never find the right time to talk about. But I really do appreciate how Janks writes things to have literal sense behind them.
Yeah.
So like the whole point of Seymour's contract is that it's just a simple sentence, which is he cannot see his family, and that's like
mother
so he's
specifically.
Allowed, yeah, he can't see his mother, and so it's the case where it's like he physically cannot lay eyes on his mother. So there is ways he can cheat around it.
Yeah.
And there's ways that like his mother can work to cheat around it as well, and they've realised that Kaya can be the middleman to help that because Kaya's not in the contract anymore. But it's the case where it's like Seymour cannot look directly at his mother. He can't look at her through a mirror. He can't look at her from a distance. He can't look at her through a vision. But she can look at him. Like, so he could be in exactly the same town and literally standing right next to his mother, and she'd be fine as long as Seymour just doesn't look at her.
Yeah.
This is
and it's like
energy.
It is, yeah, because it's the most greatest form of mockery, and it does like really highlight how devils work, where it's like, yeah, they are evil and will like trick you to do this kind of stuff that will cause a lot of pain. And Seymour still tests that though.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't realize how literal hell is, and so he's continuing to put a lot of things in danger in order to test it.
That's so fun about fiends being lawful evil or devils, because it's they basically if they write down something in the contract, they take it very literally, and if you cross the like that little line between what's wrong and what's right, what's said in the contract, then then something is happening, or something is going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's a very thin line between doing good and doing the wrong and the right thing.
Yeah. And then there's like observations, because I really do think that like Janks is going to play the idea that Tenebrous knows what Seymour's trying to do, and so we'll work that against it. So I am curious as to what will happen the next time Seymour talks to Tenebrous, because Tenebrous has witnessed that Seymour knows he can use Kaya to his advantage to check on his family.
Maybe.
And so in the background he could quickly write something in the contract that involves Kaya to not help him out, but not tell Seymour, because Seymour's never seen the contract. So he'd never be able to know.
Maybe it will be a case of the next time he makes a deal, or the next time he tries to add something, it will be you also can't scry on them.
If he reads over the entire contract again, it's just those little letters, like little fine text that says it.
Yeah.
Interesting point from Poke Rise Out Games is things are often... the thing is, often those labelled as an idiot are just looking at the world with a different lens. Often the idiot is someone with knowledge everyone else doesn't have. I don't think he has knowledge of something we don't have. This beautiful music that has just come off this conversation. I need to breathe. But I feel like Seymour definitely looks at the world from a different angle.
Yeah. He has a very different perspective on everything.
He has different priorities
it's very not black and white, but it's very like, I know what I want to do, and I know what I don't want to happen.
Yeah. Like, the world is morally grey around him, but he's determined to make it black and white so things can be simple for him.
Yeah.
That's a very good way of putting it. There was also another message, but things have moved on the chat. God damn it.
No.
Also, hi to Live and Let's Die. Hello, new to
That
the
is a good
channel.
username.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Hello, new to the channel and have been lurking for a bit. Gotta say, I love the introspective look on your characters and group dynamics.
Took us 50 episodes to get there.
No communication between each of us in game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, hi Tom. No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is absolute chaos, honestly.
Yeah, but if we talk about our characters and like everything our characters do, we have a motivation behind everything, almost everything they do.
That's true.
There is some sort of reasoning behind everything.
It's kind of hard because I think, like, I didn't, until Janks had asked that question, I didn't realise how suspicious Hattie was of the cloister of the, what's it,
Tears.
crying with oysters?
Yeah.
Nope.
What?
Cloister of the Tear crying with oysters.
That's Alice in Wonderland tale, I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't realise and I didn't really understand why, but it's like, instinctual kind of doing things and then only realising afterwards of like, oh no, that was like a character decision with like backing. I just was like following the thread of like my characters.
Yeah, but that's very funny because if you get into character playing in a session, you usually start acting like your character, and start making decisions without really knowing why you make the decision. But if you look at it after the session or after like 2 days after playing, you realize there is a bigger motivation behind it. Because you get so into character at the moment, it doesn't feel like it's something your character would do, but there's always a reason you do something in character.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's a kind of way of telling that, because there's the myth that you've reached a point where like when you're just like playing yourself, you're a player, you just think, oh, this is bullshit, obviously this is going into a trap, and then you think, oh, but what does my character think? Oh, I have to think a different mindset, and then you really think about it, it's like, no, even my character thinks this is bullshit. Like I'm not gonna stand for it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, this is bullshit. It's all secretly bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh god, there was another part to that question which we totally got distracted from. How does Raina feel about the results of... I was almost going to call her Rascal then. To be fair, it was kind of a Rascal move.
It was, yeah. I feel like Rascal's kind of seeping into Raina's characteristics.
No, I think Raina is just developing.
Yeah.
No, it's
because
it's weird.
she switched gods, and that happened before Rascal was a thing. You know,
True.
like she's been following this kind of path of like making decisions, and you know, she's being put under pressure by Janks. Like she's not a static character, and the way that she's kind of the thread that she's following right now. I don't know why I keep doing this when I say thread. The thread that she's following right now isn't kind of one that's leading her down a all sparkling, glowing in gold, morally good way. You know, it genuinely is kind of pulling her slightly off the path.
Yep.
So how does she feel about the results of Speak with Dead?
Okay. I think she is very intrigued that she has the power to do this. And yet that she's basically able to communicate with the people who have died. And it's just, that's also, again, a part of morbid curiosity about what happens after you die, because you hear stories about everything, of course. Like when people die, they go there, and this happens with their soul. But when someone dies, you're still able to talk to a part of their soul, basically. So I think she's very interested to see how she can use this in the future when they get into more difficult situations.
That's interesting.
And I think she's very happy with the results it brought her, because she knows information now, and she knows more than she knows more than when she would have looked at just the body and the records of like their death and when they were found and everything else.
So it's kind of a finding new levels in which this music is fucking ridiculous for this conversation. Oh no, sorry, I didn't realise my Spotify came up on that monitor. No. I've just turned it out. I haven't changed it, I just turned it down. I think it's interesting
that works.
that it's fine. The viewers enjoy it, you know, it's just a little bit of added layer of chaos to the conversation. I think it's interesting that Raina's kind of playing with like the edge of her powers, which aren't necessarily seen as good little cleric spells, you know, they're not kind of healing or I don't know what else clerics do.
Regenerating people, doing damage. It's also a big part.
But like it's not one of those.
It aren't the pretty spells.
Yeah.
They aren't the pretty spells.
It's kind of, you know, looking in under the bed or whatever and seeing all the monsters in the dark and pulling one out and going, this one looks fun.
Yeah.
I don't know where that metaphor came from, but you're welcome for it.
But yeah, I also think that's mainly because she chose the path of Lolith, which is kind of like playing into her personality as a kid, which she has kept hidden away basically, and now is basically like partially showing again because she's going down that route.
That is interesting.
We'll see how it plays out.
Question to AJ, but AJ isn't here.
But AJ did answer it, which we can look at and then answer because it's going to be interesting for our characters.
Yeah, he put a thing in the thingy thing.
I saw that they answered it. But
yeah.
I haven't read it.
Based on how the interactions went with clerics, how do you, Helra, feel about the group's interaction with the healers? Knowing Matron Seraphine as a respected healer from whom Helra has known for 10 to 15... my god, I can't read English. Knowing that Matron Seraphine is a respected healer whom Helra has known for 10 to 15 years vouched for her, Artius and the group, is there any sting in the almost immediate heel turn to a hostile relationship with the healers? The response... I don't know why I turned to the Zoom call as if he would then answer. Helra knows the interaction didn't go great, especially with the meeting with the Master Healer and what was said to him, so she feels guilty about not being able to handle the situation. She does harbour some negative feelings towards the party. Oops.
Understandable.
Yep, that's fair. After the incident, and she was probably going to talk to the Master Healer and Rist alone to apologise for the group, and is probably going to give a stern talk to the group about Turan law. Oh god. Hattie's gonna glaze over.
Yeah, I know. Sniper's not gonna give a flying fuck about what Helra says about Turan law, because it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, I'm gonna go over here now.
Yeah.
Like, cool, it was illegal, but it was hella fun, so...
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, I'm so glad that Kaya is not with the group for this kind of situation, if Helra is going to do this, because that would definitely cause
fights in fighting
between them.
Yeah.
Oh,
because Kaya would not accept that.
So, well, Seema will react to Kaya doing it, so Seema will probably stand by Kaya.
Yeah.
The immediate heel turn stung a lot, mostly because of Matron Seraphina vouching for them, but it mostly stung on an emotional level because she blames herself for not raiding the party when it was crucial, and for not standing up and de-escalating things. That's interesting. So she's kind of bringing it on herself to for the reaction of the party, or as if we need kind of policing.
Yeah.
How,
I guess that's just her captain ways about her, and her. Well, again, her character doesn't fully understand exactly how we work. Like, it does. To be honest, I don't even think we know how we work.
Yeah.
But like, we work. Somehow we work.
It functions.
Yeah, and we don't work with authority is the thing. So as soon as Helra puts her foot and say, "I'm in charge," we're gonna say, "Okay, yeah, no," and then carry on as we usually do.
That's cute, but nah.
I
think it's also interesting because we completely forgot about Artius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew he was there, but I was also kind of thinking, like, if I was to go to Janx, so I turn to Artius and say this, Janx will say, "Oh, Artius is not there," and I'm like, oh, okay. So I just left it at that.
Yeah. I got Artius in the back of my mind, like, okay, he's still here, and he's not saying anything. So okay, let's do this. Let's give it a try.
I want to see what Artius' reaction is going to be.
Yeah. I want to know what the fuck Artius' deal is, because, like, understand that Snipe is suspicious of Artius. For no reason other than, like, Snipe's also suspicious of Helra. Like, Snipe's suspicious of everything, so...
Yeah, Hattie's suspicious as well, but just because he keeps doing things for us for no benefit of himself.
Yeah, and we now know just how fucking powerful he is.
Yeah. He's gone, like, a long way out of his way to travel with us and to help us out. And he hasn't given any reason or any... Like, he's not getting anything in return, which is why Hattie's like...
What do you want?
What are you buying? And why are you here?
Yeah. I feel like, obviously for the metagamey situation, Artius is there to help us because we make terrible decisions all the time and we don't communicate with one another. So he's just our little, like, assist mode for the game.
He's an in-group therapist.
Yeah.
He's the counsellor that comes along.
I love how every time we enter a new city or a new town, we basically get a new NPC to join us on our travels. Because we had the cleric with Tom? No, what was his name?
Dan.
Dan and
Thanamus.
Yeah. And then when they left, we didn't find any other NPC. But then we found Artius. So every time...
No, who was it who was with
No.
us?
It was there, and then it was
the travelling group from Kaya.
Yeah,
yes,
travelling group.
Kaya's travelling. I was like, there was someone who fought with us against the trolls.
Yeah.
They weren't trolls. Were they trolls?
Yeah, they were trolls.
Yeah, they were trolls. It was a dire troll.
Yeah.
Dire troll. That I was like, they were dire.
Yeah, that you got Hattie got fucking football kicked across the entire town.
Yeet!
The halfling monk being yeeted.
Everything is just very airborne for Hattie. It's like you throwing stuff or you being thrown.
That was a pain because it took like an entire go to like get back into the fight. I was like, okay, I use my action to dash, I use my bonus action to dash, I use my full movement.
It's also amazing because a halfling gets like a movement of 25 feet as a halfling, and then you chose a monk, so it's a halfling monk, which still means like she is the shortest and has the shortest legs of everyone, but she's still the fastest of everyone.
She's like the fucking hedgehog.
Yeah. Like,
she's just used to running to keep up with everyone, so of course she's just naturally fast.
In one of my upcoming campaigns, this is Ed, in one of my upcoming games, not campaigns, Jesus, I have a surprise guest playing an NPC. You guys ever do that? You know what, at one point there was a conversation about inviting, because like we've had a few people on for one-shots, but I had a conversation, I don't know how publicly it was, but I had a conversation with Dave with inviting a specific person. However, I didn't ever do anything with that, so that's on me. But, I mean, I'd be tempted.
It would be fun.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Yeah. To basically have someone join in, like, join the Zoom call, turn their camera to black, change their name to just ... and when they get introduced as an NPC, they just join in.
Yeah, just the ultimate reveal. But then also just, like, if it's a special guest that, like, has never done D&D, it's also quite, like, a good way to introduce that person to D&D. Because, like, they can just play an NPC, which is a relaxed character. You just got to watch everything react around you, react accordingly. And apparently learn as you go. Not sure if our group is the best teachers of learning as you go.
No.
I mean, the person that I was planning on asking, I don't want to say who it is because...
You can say it on a break.
I'll tell you guys on break, but I'm fairly certain some of you will know who it is, and I don't want you getting in contact with them before we have, because that's just a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
We can guess. We'll have guesses, and we will not confirm or deny any of them, but
Mercer,
freedom
no.
to guess.
Oh Jesus! I would be terrified if
so
Matthew
cool.
Mercer would join.
Yeah,
I
we
would
get
be like,
Travis
oh
Williams.
fuck.
Travis Williams.
Yeah.
And then we get the ultimate fuckery between Janks.
Yeah.
When they
Travis
join us,
Williams
they're like,
and
wait,
Travis Willingham.
Which one?
Travis.
Too many Travises.
Yeah, no, I'd absolutely adore to be able to like pull. I feel like with Crimson Petal, it's a very big campaign. There's a lot of players, so I don't think it would be as fair to bring a guest star or a guest player in, whether they're playing an NPC or just a character.
Yeah, and our relationship with NPCs are not necessarily good, considering we ignored one at the very beginning
Yeah.
of the show.
Yeah. Especially our relationship with NPCs in Crimson Petal was just
maybe not. But no, I think maybe Eltra would be the game in which we bring people in.
Yeah. Also because there's
Plus
only
Janks,
6
yeah,
people.
and Janks is like he's a good teacher. Like, I don't think I would have gotten to D&D as much as I have if it weren't for me starting off with Janks, like introducing the very first one shot.
Janks is absolutely incredible. And more people need to know about him. More people need to appreciate his work because he constantly astounds me.
Yeah. An idea I also heard is an NPC being not like played in session by another person, but basically an NPC. Let me rephrase this. You introduce an NPC, and whenever they need to make a decision about anything, like the party asks them, you go to a friend and you ask them their opinion, and that's basically they playing the NPC outside of the game.
Yeah,
that's a very fun thing to play around with because sometimes you can't really like make up your mind about what this NPC would do, and if you just ask a random friend, like, what would you do if you were in this situation?
Oh, we could have like an NPC played by chat.
Yeah.
So like we could, because you can have like polls and stuff on in the chat, right? So you could have, as long as like there's enough time.
We could have like an actual fucking like, if you have a bard that needs to play a performance, you can have the people in the chat act like the audience.
Yeah.
Throws beer.
Yeah. Buys another drink.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's very interesting to maybe like invite someone from chat and ask them to be basically making decisions for a specific NPC.
Yeah.
I'd
say what Dave could really take advantage of that, because the majority of the NPCs he has, especially in our campaign, are people from like the community.
Yeah,
and you don't have to ask them every single time to ask what they are doing or what they would do, but just like with those decisions that you're not sure what they would do, but you want to make a right decision. Basically.
Like the pinnacle moments in which you're like, that's a big decision. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I vote we go on a break slightly earlier. Yeah. Work out what the heckity heck the next up will be, because we only have one campaign running. Campaign?
Yeah. Campaign.
But we still need to talk about Hattie's book search, Snipe ending up like fulfilling a card prophecy, and possibly what Kaya would think, because I was hoping Naomi would be in the call to ask like how fucking angry Kaya would be that the card has come true, like from the end of last session.
Ooh.
And I also have a little thing to say about Reyna visiting her old house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We've got a lot more
we need to go on break and write all this down, otherwise I'm going to forget it all. Okay, we will go on a break and we will see you in, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes. In reality, it's probably 10 to 15. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
Just go grab a food, go grab some drinking.
Hydrate.
Hydrate. Check your posture.
Yeah, hydrate, posture, consume
meds
go live.
Whenever possible or needed.
What they say.
Bye.
Good.
And we're back. Only partially ready, apparently, because I already clicked on the thing, and the response of "Are we ready?" was, "Well, yeah, okay."
Sure.
I mean, may as well.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing as we're here, we might as well do the actual podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome back. Nothing has changed in the time in which we were gone.
No.
Time still be moving forwards. I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay, Road to Ultra.
Yeah.
Reyna, you went back to your house.
Oh fuck yes.
How was that?
Are we gonna start with? Okay, sure.
I mean,
We're
we
gonna
don't
start
have
with
to.
that
We
one.
can move around with something else, and you can.
Let's start with another character first because I answered already a lot of questions. So Snipe, go ahead. Take it away.
Shit.
I mean, if you're not ready, we can always do the Hattie thing. No one's ready for anything.
No. The answer was no when you said
I am
ready.
ready, but there's so much more to talk about. So
yeah, I mean, whoever wants to go first. I honestly,
you know what? The Hattie thing.
Yes, that does deserve a sweet mentioning.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
First of all, what the fuck was going on?
And why did Hattie decide I want to bring the books back? Like, but didn't bring them back. But why did she decide
why did she just return them to the library?
She was just embarrassed at the idea that, like, in reality, what she should have done is stayed at the library and studied the books at the library. But she needed to get back to you guys because you were like, no, we have to go do the thing. So she was feeling guilty that she left, but she wanted to get the knowledge. So she left with the books, knowing that she'd have to give them back basically instantly.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really much time for her to actually study them. What I was tempted to do was, like, stay up for the night and read them while everyone else was sleeping. But I forgot about that until after we'd already left. I was like, fuck, I should have. But no, the entire thing was she was too embarrassed to go hand them back a few hours after she'd gotten them out. So she was just trying to find a way of either getting them back to the library
that didn't have to show your identity.
Yeah.
Or hiding them.
A few days later, or hiding them.
Weird question.
Yeah.
In England, when you return a book to a library, do you have to go to a desk or do you just drop them off?
You can do either.
Yeah, if you return them on time, you can literally just drop them in through a slot in some libraries. If you are late, you have to come in to say, "Oh, I was late returning the book," and then you can either like turn the book in, or you can apply for longer time. Because it's usually the case was like if you didn't return the book, then you needed it for a lot longer than needs be.
Yeah, because we always, like in the Netherlands, when you return a book, it's always through a slot, even though you're late, because you just have to pay. Like if you're late, the machine will tell you that you have to pay, basically. So
no, it's basically, so in my local library, it's a case of the polite thing to do is go to the desk and hand them in. But if no one's at the desk, you can just put them on a shelf next to the desk.
In my university, it was all very high tech. We had a fucking like a self checkout for borrowing books. We just scanned the book and like said how many days it would be, and then like you'd get a beep on your computer from the website to say you need to return this book, or like 5 other people want this book, so please return it on time.
That's what happened at my uni as well. But Hattie was just too embarrassed at the idea of handing them back straight away, so she
you know what, if Hattie just told if Hattie had just said that, like it'd be understandable. At the same time, I feel like Snipe would say, well, if you return it in early and you've already told them that you're from Candlekeep, then you could have played off just like, oh, I'm so intellectual from Candlekeep, I managed to read this entire huge book within 20 minutes.
But they gave her a child's book. She was so embarrassed about that. She was just trying to be independent, and because she didn't want to cause any more trouble, because like the response of, oh, I want to go to the library was, you can't go and see your friends. And she was like, well, I kind of want to go see if there's anyone there I know, but at the same time
you never said you were going to a library though, is the thing. You said I wanted to go see my friends, and we thought that's a bit of a menial task for like you know, trying to get to another location. If she just said I have to go to a library, we would have went, oh, okay, go there.
The thing is, if she had been truthful about the entire thing, none of it would have happened.
So the important question is, has Hattie learned that?
No.
Right.
But that does make sense. Because it's usually when Hattie does one thing one time, she doesn't learn from it. But when it happens multiple times, she'll probably learn from it in the long run.
The thing is, if the books had like exploded or something, if she tried to take them out, they'd exploded on something. She would have learned the lesson. And when she finds out that something has happened to the books because she left them at the inn, she will then learn something potentially, but right now she hasn't. As far as she's concerned, she's dealt with it so well. She's like, whew.
She's dealt with it so well. Witnessed by everyone in the party who was present, as well as the incorporeal objects and a pixie. You probably didn't even have to go to in the context of what you were doing, but you did anyway.
Yeah, I love the just the scene of just Snipe sitting back and watching just Hattie wandering around.
Yeah.
With books, and then something wrapped up in a sheet.
Yeah. Just like a body like dragging behind her, just like
because this book like it's
like
like
say anything or
it's like the version of a Bible. So compared to Hattie, it would be like this size, like holding like something like this.
Yeah, it's like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
But no, I was kind of surprised about the pixie being like, you're messed up. Like, you have a lot going on. She's like,
I wasn't surprised, but it was fun to see like literally the whole thing around pixies, like them stealing emotions and then it's stopping halfway to go like, okay, listen here. I don't know what the fuck is going on with you right now.
But this is not okay.
Yeah. Sort yourself out so that I can do this properly, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so curious because I'm gonna look up pixies now. So I'm curious what the ability does in like specifics.
I think it was just like he was just trying to read Hattie to see if she was trustworthy.
Yeah, I think it's
it was
also
it was a failed charisma saving throw, and Janks asked what your emotions were
and your alignments.
Yeah, so maybe it was something to do with like trying to manipulate something to go into, I don't know, just like manipulate them to do something for you. But he was just like, I can't fucking do this because what the fuck is going on with you right now?
Yeah, no. Hattie's got a lot going on right now, and she doesn't really know how to fix it, you know?
Yeah. But there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
To be honest.
At least you didn't get killed by him.
That's true. That would be embarrassing.
Like Hattie, death by pixie.
But to be honest, like knowing pixies are like more open, not more open, but they rather
pixies. The many pixie friends that I have.
No, like knowing the lore of pixies in D&D, they rather flee than they fight. So if they send someone, if because Janks asks your alignments, so if it would have been an evil alignment, they would probably just be like, fuck, I'm out.
Yeah. No, the whole escapade of Hattie. She's just like an exhausting, like she's fun to play, but she's like an exhausting character to play because like there's so much stuff going on in her head.
Yeah. I'll say it is entertaining though. It was very entertaining because you never told when you didn't tell us what was going on. It was just a case of, oh god, what is she gonna do next? It was just like she asks where the hammer was and like how it works. We were just like, what the fuck are you trying to do? And then like going to the pigs, it's just like you're gonna try and kill him with the hammer, and then you're coming back and saying, where's the broom? It's like, what the fuck are you doing, Hattie? And then you reveal it, and it's like, okay, if you'd have just told us that, you know, fine, it's understandable. But at the same time, I don't think there's anyone more suspect of a crime than you right now.
Yeah.
He's acting so suspiciously.
I didn't even think of it from your perspective of me going, where's the hammer? Where's the broom? Can I make friends with the pixie?
Yeah. I just love like the roundup of situations as well, because like Snipe and Raina had to go elsewhere, and Snipe just wanted to tell Hattie like something, and I didn't know what the fuck to say, so I just left it at don't.
Yeah.
As like just a way of advice, because just like whatever Hattie has planned, it's best for me to tell you don't. You're still gonna, but just to know you probably shouldn't if whatever you're doing happens. And so Snipe's just sitting back and just going, well, I mean, it's better than doing what I thought they were going to do.
What did Snipe think Hattie was going to do?
That Hattie was just going to take every single thing that was in Artie's house and just like run away with it and see what happens. Try and take ownership of the house.
This is mine now.
I made this. This is mine.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so pixies from this website. Pixies have detect chaos, detect good, detect evil, detect law, and detect thoughts. Those are the things they have. The spell casting things. So
a lot of detection.
Yeah. So they were just kind of like checking me out, checking Hattie out rather, seeing what her deal was.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And while all that was going on, or before that was going on, Raina, you went to your house.
Yep.
How about that?
How do that be?
To be honest, the thought of Raina going to her house didn't occur to me like 10 minutes before I said anything about it. So it was a very in the moment decision to do. But it basically was because she was meaning to go to Waterdeep before she met you guys. So it was basically sort of a goodbye for her, for the house, like the place where she grew up and where she lived as a child, and the memories she had there, and basically her going there one last time to walk around, change up clothes, leaving their old clothes behind, and walking away. Is her form of saying goodbye to the place she lived as a child. And I think if her father would have been like, if her father was home, she would have just said like, okay, I'm here to pick up the gold and then I'm gonna leave again. But because he wasn't home, she got the possibility to walk around and see everything.
Yeah. I mean, the butler.
Do you think Raina's actually going to go back, or do you think that's just it?
I feel like she doesn't want to go back because it creates it creates a lot of confliction in her being in Waterdeep, being around her family. So it's a case of not like she doesn't want to go back, because if she were to go back, she would really like be messed up on the inside, because she wouldn't know what to do with like the feeling she has about the place and about her home.
So her kind of like the conversation that she had with Spider-Man, about like, oh, you want two fathers now. You're kind of Raina's dealing with the emotion of having to kind of leave it behind, or whatever comes with that, by just ignoring it.
Mm-hmm. She'd rather abandon her old family so she doesn't have to feel it than face it, basically.
Ooh.
Yeah. Just taking control of the situation herself.
Emotionally repressed. Woo!
What's different to D&D?
Yeah.
That's true. That's interesting.
It's also amazing that your sister came in at the moment that I decided to do that.
I know, yeah. That was I was wondering. Oh, I didn't really remember that scene because there was something going on in the background, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was.
I was
and I was like, it's something to do with Becca. What happened with Becca and during that session that made me so distracted for this wonderful moment for Raina.
Yeah.
I was so done because it was just like you were having this like moment, and I really wanted to watch it. Then Lottie came in. And she was, oh God, I can't even remember what it was about.
It was like a CIA thing going on.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. So something happened
On the Discord server.
She's a streamer as well. Something happened in her community, and someone was being not great, and they basically CIA'd one of the person who was being, untruthful, and apparently I had to know about it and look at the messages, which to be fair I did, because as a mod I had to know what was going on, but I was like, couldn't this have waited like 10 minutes?
I'm in the middle of a session, right in front of my session.
The perfect timing, was it?
It could have been like a non-emotional, like if she just messaged me on Discord and was like, heads up, you need to look at this, you need to know that this is happening. It would have been fine. Anyway, I was...
At the same time, it was on her mind, and if she needed to get out quick before something else distracted her, then yeah.
I completely understand.
At the same time, timing, as always.
Yeah.
It's always just timing when it comes to these
moments. It's always timing in this household, you know? Things just do be happening. So I apologise for that.
It's fine.
And then it totally distracted me because it was a semi-serious, but also kind of comedic thing that was happening, so... Yeah. I apologise.
Also, Jang's saying halfway, I'm focusing on you, Raina.
Yeah, just like, forget everything that's going on around you.
Tunnel vision to Raina. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, guys.
It's all
right.
fine.
Things happen.
Yep. Life do be happening.
Can it not, though? That would be brilliant. Absolutely fucking fantastic.
Snipe.
Yeah, Snipe.
Yeah, Snipe.
You
Jesus
fulfilled
Christ.
a prophecy.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere. Like I wasn't fucking expecting it. I was like, oh shit, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think to honestly, like instantly teleporting from like Arceus's house to Scornabelle came as a bit of a shock to me, because I was like, wait, is that easy?
It's like, we can do this.
It was this easy the whole time.
It's also cool because Kaya can learn the ability to teleport.
Yeah,
she can create teleportation circles.
Yeah, but it may take her a while. Let's do that.
I'm gonna look
What
up-
level is it? Is the thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's like Snipe could be really helped out by Kaya and Seymour if they got to a certain level, because Seymour can like cast Summon Demon and Kaya can do teleport.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's only at a certain level, and it's just like I don't
Hattie
think
can
it's gonna
hit
happen.
people harder.
Yeah.
Yay!
Sure, what
Has
Reyna
a
can do,
stick.
but sure.
Yeah. Snipe
Stick,
can't really
but
do
with
anything
more
right now.
velocity.
Teleport. How does the alphabet work?
I want to know when we're next leveling up. Like, I'm not gonna bug Janks about it.
Yeah, because every time we've
Yeah.
bugged Janks about it, he's like waited until like the very last second to say, "Oh, you've leveled up now." It's always the bit
Yeah.
where like we're so exhausted and so inundated with what's happened that we don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like, it's fun to level up, but it's also fun to get to know the level you're in right now and the abilities you can do.
Yeah, and plus Janks is really good at like teaching feats to us as a way that's like RP relevant, like
Oh.
Hattie
Yeah.
having a dream and then Kaya having a dream to like learn scrying.
Yeah.
5th level spell is it? So 5th level is learned at level 9?
I
Level
sent
9.
a list to Janks of all of the feats, some of which I know aren't even feasible for Hattie to get her grubby little hands on. But some of them are feasible, and I think I'll write some
Janks
down.
can find a way to weave it in.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Level 9, Kaya has to be for teleportation,
Yeah,
sure.
so
We're
I-
still level 5, still level 6.
Yeah.
God damn it.
3 more
So
levels to
much
go.
that could be done right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she learns evasion and stillness of mind.
Level 9, I believe. Stillness of Mind is a level 9 ability, I believe. Or level 7.
It's
Yeah.
level 7. Wait, we're level
6.
6, so next level.
Yeah.
Um,
I still need to talk to Jenks about this, but I feel like I need to change my cleric domain.
Maybe, yeah.
yeah.
But we'll see.
Basically, dodging, taking half damage, and ending an effect on me, charmed or frightened. Yeah. But the feats that, speaking of interweaving feats into our characters in the storyline, I requested 4 or suggested 4 things which I think on varying levels of like legitimacy of what Hattie could take. So lucky, telekinetic, so being able to move things with her mind, tough, soul of Izzo, which is basically you get like a cat. Hey, it's Naomi.
Hey!
Hey!
How you doing?
Hello.
Yellow. And charger. So 2 of them are like
I'm glad that you were kind of talked out of thinking of pursuing Keen Mind, because in terms of RP, that's impossible for Hattie.
Yeah.
yeah, there were a few things
Yeah.
that I was excited about, but
Yeah, and then we realised, oh wait.
It just wouldn't work out like with your character.
If you want to jump in the call, because we do have a question for you about the prophecy.
Yeah.
And just answer it.
prophecy.
We'll just like ask you the question. You can rant about it for 5 minutes and then bounce if you want to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's basically just talking about like Snipe getting the new message,
Yeah.
and then it just so happened to line up with like how the card prophesized it.
Ask me. I'll type something in chat. Okay. So how do you feel
As a
How would-
player.
how-
Yeah, because Kaya doesn't know, because
Yeah.
I wrote everything in a way for the message so that it would be deliberately vague.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
How
that,
would Kaya know if she would find out
Yeah.
that it happened at that timing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would she feel if she knew? And how do you feel about?
would that put Kaya off going to Scornabelle at all, or because it's the whole thing where it's like, oh, the card's prophecy has now been fulfilled, like she's now furious about that and will do something like drastic to try and
Ooh,
stop
I hope Kaya
everything.
never finds out. Actually, why? Give us, Naomi. Give us your sweet knowledge. Why? What would happen if Kaya did find out? Is she
I
gonna go
think-
like crazy, or is her world going to fall around her?
Should I just leave? Because
Yeah.
that do be what Kaya does in, in situations of fate.
Yeah.
Situation.
Especially when the tarot cards predicted it.
Yeah. It's such a mockery as well, because when she learnt scrying, it was like one of the hags who taught her, and like those cards, like, basically predicted fate, were made by one of the hags.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, we're practically handing you fate here.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're all interweaving in this one thing and no outsider thing is influenced here indicates this is all wound up. Like, this was all meant to be. It's such a huge mockery.
If Kaya did find out, she'd probably do another tarot reading and try and subvert its fate. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
So, like, actively trying to go against.
Try, yeah.
Yeah,
Create a
but
prediction
if
and
that
then
be the
completely ignore
case, then it will weave itself against it and will make it happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wonder.
I don't know.
I
Janks
wonder-
likes messing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, he managed to make it come true without the right people actually having to be there. So maybe no matter what is on the cards, maybe he's always going to try and find a way to make it true.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be physically occurring, like, because it's a case
Metaphorically.
of, like, Kaya was metaphorically there with Snipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it
So,
only partially came true, she wouldn't be too upset, but she would get a little angsty about it.
Yeah.
Understandably.
I think it's very interesting because like the tarot card is a literally depiction of like what's likely to happen, but when it happened, it's a more metaphorically version of what happened.
Yeah.
Was shown on the tarot card.
She'd see it as the cards cheating.
Yeah.
Definitely annoying.
Definitely blaming the cards for, like, how dare you make fate come true.
Yeah.
It's not real, it's fake. You're just making it up now.
Yeah, but also Naomi, like, I also have a question of, like, that it'll probably be acted out in the next session depending how things go. Like, what's Kaya's reaction going to be to Snipe's response to her thing? Because basically, my response to Kaya's message is basically, hey, we're in Scornabel now, we got here through teleportation, like, get here as soon as possible. And then basically answering the question of, like, that she asked, which is, oh, we found a way to get Snipe back, is there anything we should know? Like, in the moment, Snipe's just like, oh, this could fuck with everything, but Snipe also thought a secondary thing that could happen, that could just line up, and thinking about Janks, it could. But, I basically Snipe's just like, yeah, do what you have to do, but just be very fucking careful, because if it goes wrong, then, like, catastrophic things could happen. And then signing it off with, like, the one key element that's needed for, like, summoning a demon, which is a demon's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would the demon's name actually be your real name, or would it be something else, though?
Well, maybe, it depends.
Guess some random demon called Penny.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Penny? Was that her name?
Yeah, Penny. But it's spelled in a different way is the thing, and I don't know, like, I had another downside where it's like the symbol that Snipe draws a lot is technically how you write Penny in their language.
Yeah. Kaya's not too bothered. She did note the drop of penny. Guess the penny dropped.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh my.
That's brilliant. Thank you for enlightening us with that piece of humor, Naomi. I don't know when your class is starting, but...
Yeah, thanks. See, the thing is, like, thinking about what could possibly happen now, because Snipe's got the note from, like, the guy that they've been trying to track down the whole time. I don't know what's going to happen, because I don't know what, like, or Tatskus, I think the guy's name is. I don't know what his deal is.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's, like, bad. But it could be a case of just, like, he hands over the other half of Snipe.
I'm so curious, because there's so many possibilities that could happen with this dude. There's so many things so many ways it could go.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Have you rolled a new character, Soph?
I have, yeah. Good to know. Thank you for reminding me that is a possibility.
Yeah.
Can we get a sneak peek of the character? Maybe like race or no? Just tell us the class, maybe.
Class is a bard.
Ooh, bard friend.
But however, the kind of background that I've written for them and how they're related in some way, they're the most unbardic bard there is to know, because they're not musically talented, but they just need the bardic, like, ways to be charismatic.
Storytelling, because the bar is not usually, it's not only music, it's storytelling and like telling the adventures they have through their own perspective in their own ways.
Yeah, it's more like performance based.
Yeah.
About the cards, Kaya would say she won over the cards because it didn't literally come true, but she wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it, and that would cause her to draw another one. And now I'm guessing you're meaning your newly rolled character?
I think so, yeah.
So they're Naomi's, wow, the English language.
What a wonder.
rolled character as a backup character is a sorcerer.
Yeah.
I have 2.
What's okay? Can we get or maybe pick one? I can't remember what mine is.
No, I'm just gonna say them. Either artificer or fighter.
Artificer or fighter.
It depends who dies first.
It depends.
Yeah, it does. Because the
Yeah.
artificer can be linked to 2 characters and the fighter is linked to 1 specific character.
Yeah. Mine's a druid.
Oh. Isn't yours linked to like the hags though? Is another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And Dave's character's a wizard, I believe.
Dave's is also linked to the hags.
Yeah.
They are.
Mine's is linked to Seymour, which is it's not linked to, it's linked to it's linked to Seymour's like job, what he was previously before we set off. So it's a case of like it's a similar situation that they're in, that Seymour's in.
Can we say race? I mean, you can if you want. Mine isn't linked to anyone yet.
No.
I'd love to play the bard. Yeah, no. I've played a few bards. They're absolutely my favourite class to play.
I
think
guess we can say race.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say race just because mine is so distinct. I feel like you guys already know what race it is, but I'm not going to... I want it to be a surprise, you know, because potentially it's going to be hidden from people.
Good, because I can't fucking remember. Mine is tiefling.
Yours is changeling, Naomi?
Changeling sorcerer. That's a fun combination.
Nice.
Cool.
Wow.
My artificer is a shifter, which basically is like a werewolf type character.
We've all gone like different. Like we were like halfling, human. I'm an elf.
Yeah.
Now we're like I'm a changeling.
Yeah. Well, that's because now we have access through D&D Beyond to more races. So it's just like, oh, let's pick out some interesting ones.
Yeah, I think also it's interesting that a shifter, because shifter is basically a creature that's connected to nature. And I went artificer because I have an interesting concept in mind. I would like to play it out, but we'll see what happens.
I like if I'm thinking like artificer as in like maybe more the stereotypical way, I'm interested in the idea that like you've got this like really natural character doing this really kind of man-made class, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And the other is a tabaxi. The fighter.
Did you say your race of?
I did, yeah, it was a tiefling.
Tiefling.
Yeah, but a specific kind of tiefling.
Ooh. Nice. No, I'm keeping mine close to my chest. Cards close to
your chest, yeah.
Cards
sayings,
on the
English
chest.
language.
Yeah.
Cards no longer on the table. Cards in hand.
I like how we just started talking about our replacement characters as soon as we come to the realization that Snipe's gonna fucking die.
She's fucking dead.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, it could be simple, it could be a fight, and there's also a case where I realised there is a possibility now, in that Janks has basically confirmed that, our timelines are now synced back up again with, like, the message arriving to Snipe at that time, and I don't know if we have to wait another day or two. Well, Snipe doesn't know if they have to wait another day or two to see, like, this guy.
Yeah.
Because it just said that, like, see you in Skyshade or wherever it was. I don't know if that means, like, the next night or, like, in the next few days. But if it's a case where, like, Kyra and Seymour do their thing, they've acquired what they need, the person they're with can therefore summon Demon for them. If they time that at the right time of my guy summoning Demon of the same demon, what happens? Like, who gets the demon first? It's like he tries to, like, Artaska summons Demon and doesn't appear, and then suddenly it just appears for Seymour and Kaya.
Yeah.
And then vanished because immediately.
Oh no, this fucking demon, I don't know them. Fuck him. Bye.
Also, here's two interesting things. First, Ed said, I have a shifter in one of my games. He was hit by a slad and now is turning into a lizard wolf if he can't heal himself.
He's turning into a chupacabra.
Yeah.
Also, Naomi just said, also cards. If Kaya never finds out, she will declare her victory over fate, which is quite a sentence to say. And not worry if futures on the cards come true, because she knows she can prevent it if she wants to.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Do you think...
One thing's for sure, I think that if Snipe had any kind of knowledge that that was what was going on with Kaya, Snipe would wait until the very last fucking second to say to Kaya, oh yeah, by the way, the thing at Scornabel happened.
Yeah.
As a way to just piss Kaya off.
Yeah.
To just like, yeah, all this thing that you've done, yeah, it's irrelevant. Like, you've got no power here. Like.
You have no power here. That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Kai being like, I have defeated fate.
Janks is like, not yet.
Yeah, sure.
That's cute.
You tried, at least.
Yeah.
An effort was made.
It's a participation medal.
Yeah. God, I'm so nervous about the idea of Snipe dying.
How the fuck do you think I...
Like, I can't... The thing is, so
I'm
much
curious
stuff
as to
has to, like, happen before we know whether it's even possible to, like, for her to live.
It's also so stupid, because like, a few days ago, I went over the scenario in my brain. If Snipe would die, what the fuck would the group do?
Yeah.
Like, I was just going over that situation, like, oh, fuck. Like...
Yeah. Well, Snipe needs to tell... Well, luckily, Jank said we can retcon what happens between us getting kicked out the morgue and Snipe appearing at the Bloody Oak. We can still add something in there. Like, Snipe still has to finish off the conversation with Rayna, and Snipe has a lot of things to say. Because since they're in Scornabel, Snipe now thinks, okay, I'm so close and so much can go wrong, I'm gonna say this before I go fuck off and deal with this myself.
Yeah.
I love the Tiki Bar music coming in at the perfect moment. I think that might be the first time Naomi's heard it live.
Maybe.
How incredible the Tiki Bar music coming in is. Question from Naomi: how much do your PCs actually know about Kaya's thing with Fate? Oh, how do you know it's nothing?
No. Snipe suspects, like, something's going on. But not that you have, but, like, Snipe suspects there's something going on that's, like, nothing to do with the fact of her trying to cheat Fate, mainly because, we were there to see the tarot cards when you pulled them out in the first place. And so for Kaya to then reorganize everyone to go into separate situations to not make the cards come true, Snipe immediately thinks, okay, something's wrong here.
Yeah, but we never discussed, like, the groups where we would go in, because the moment we drew those cards, we looked at Seymour, and Seymour was gone.
Discussed it.
So we didn't talk about the groups we would go.
No, there was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but not. I don't think it's like you can. Like, that conversation, you can, like, pick little snippets out, like seeing Kaya being, like, confused about the cards and wanting them to not come true. But I think it's not enough to completely know everything about her relationship with Faith.
Yeah.
Because it's a very obscure thing.
It suspects something's going on, but not the full picture.
Yeah. So like, Snipe wouldn't have any reason to actively tell or keep the information for her. We did discuss it, but Kaya never outwardly made her problems with Fate vocal to the party.
No. So I think, because we as players, of course, know it, but I think our characters could maybe, like, see little snippets here and there, like little moments of Kaya mentioning, like, those little subtle things, but we wouldn't, like, completely know it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, like, Snipe does have, like, a very strange relationship with Fate themselves, so it is something that's on their mind at all times. So it's just like, you know, because Snipe can look at Rayna, and from what Rayna has said, Snipe thinks, like, oh, there's a certain amount of fate that's written for her that she's either trying to right herself or sway herself in a different direction, but it seems to be rewriting itself back to how it is, like, basically the lack of control that people have over their own fate. So Snipe sees that through Rayna, and maybe Snipe would see that through Kaya if Kaya would do something similar of, like, trying to actively avoid what is going to happen.
I mean, on a different
and then there's Hattie. Hattie's a fucking enigma.
So excited. She doesn't see Kaya's problem with Fate, and she is so freaking excited about the idea of you know, Fate happening and it being, like, a thing that she can, like, I will be here soon, that's so dope, and then actually being there, she's probably gonna get the card and be like, look, it's me, I'm here and I'm also there.
Yeah, I think it's Hattie is more entertained by the thought of being able to predict the future than being able to avoid it. Because she's like, okay, there's a way to predict, like, where I'm gonna end up. Oh shit, I want to know everything about it.
Yeah, as long as it's not, like, predicting someone's death. Janks, don't you fucking dare. She's fine. If it, like,
Just never ask a question about death on the tarot cards. Just
no.
the minute
Never bring up Molly Muck into D&D. Never discuss death in a podcast. There are just certain rules.
Yeah, like she's, as long as it doesn't stop predicting obviously bad things happening, she's fine. She's just like, this is so cool. Like, I know where I'm gonna be in a couple of weeks' time. Like, previously, I have no idea what's going on, but this one time, I'm allowed to, like, know.
Then I'm curious if it, like, I need to think how to phrase this. If many positive things happen being predicted by the tarot cards, would she, and they come true, would Hattie, once a negative thing comes out of the tarot card, would Hattie be scared of it happening?
Yeah,
like,
because if good things happen, if there's like, if the card with her on it comes true, she'd be in a position where she's like, well, it's obviously fact. It obviously is definitely going to happen, which is like the last thing that she wants to actually happen. So she's in a position where she's like, if a bad thing is predicted, she believes it will definitely come true. So, and she will probably think that there's nothing she can do to stop it. So she'll probably just like have a breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I've given the artist in one of my games a prophetic, is that how you say that word? Time of drawings from their future.
Ooh.
That's interesting.
Nice.
I find it so interesting how people use, like, people actively have to work a little bit of magic into the campaign. Like, you have to be able to, like, predicting the future using tarot cards, whatever. There has to be a level of, like, DM input into making sure either it definitely always happens or doesn't always happen, or creating a rule in which fate can be changed. I find that so interesting.
Yeah.
They take psychic damage, but they can look at it at any time. Jesus.
God. Then again, I think that's kind of fun, like, thinking about it, like, how much fun Jenks has, like, adding stuff in.
Yeah.
As, like, metagame. Whether it's, like, setting up an idea of, like, oh, this fateful thing is going to happen in the future, or, like, playing an NPC character that interacts with a cat that is reminiscent of something that happened off-stream beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, with Bill and Jinx.
Yeah. Yeah.
The moment you said Jinx, I'm like, well, okay, sure.
That's also good, but hey.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We'll see.
Do you guys think it's going to go badly? Do you think we're going to be able to beat the big bad and wander off?
In the context of Scornable or in the context of Elturel?
Yeah.
Both. In any capacity, whether that's saving Snipe, whatever is going to happen in Elturel, or what's happening currently in Scornable.
I can make no predictions, to be honest.
I don't know. I really don't know.
No clue.
I'm honestly terrified.
Yeah, same. Anything could happen. Basically, with anything could happen.
Yeah.
Knowing us.
Well, that's comforting. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Should we roll some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
My dice here. Where are my dice?
I'll roll for you then, don't worry.
Where are all my dice? I've lost
In the
my
tray.
Dice. Thank you. Where is my dice tray?
Where the tray is kept. You're welcome.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know I
the game
possessed.
where he's playing a version of his actual self in his D&D character's life. So he actually drew the Tome of Drawings years ago.
Oh.
So wait, he's playing himself.
We also need to play a one shot with the characters we basically took from the quiz.
Oh yeah.
We took a quiz and we created characters. We should play them.
Yeah.
I wonder what it says about. Yeah, I wonder what it says about me that I've never played a cleric and kind of want to go up my way to not play a cleric because it doesn't look very good. And I was given cleric. What does it say about me? Where it's like I'd actively not enjoy playing me.
Yeah. Well, clerics clerics get a bad rep because they are seen as like the main healers of a group. But if you look, because you don't watch Critical Role, do you?
No.
No. If you look at Jester. She is a trickster cleric, but she doesn't heal at all.
Yeah. She almost refuses to. She's like, oh, so because I'm a cleric, you think I should be healing you?
Yeah.
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 She's very
and then
more
there's just
fighting.
And then there's just the Adventure Zone fucking Merle High Church, the cleric who doesn't heal.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to heal. The only thing he knows is Zone of Truth, and that's it.
I can make people tell the truth. You're welcome.
Yeah.
There is a link to our Discord in the chat now. That is, if you're watching this later, that will be active for 7 days. So I don't know, freaking type it out manually into or copy. I don't know whether chat's actually available. I know it will be on screen. Work out how to do that. Use technology. Be brainy.
Productive.
Also, a friend of mine had recently started watching these podcasts.
Don't say that. I don't like it when real life people actually watch this. Not that you're not
She's
real life people,
she's
but...
an amazing person, but it's just so weird because she's an high school friend. So she sent me a photo of just watching the stream.
Oh
Or her
god.
watching, not the stream, but like the VOD on YouTube, and I was like, oh fuck.
But yeah, so if on the Discord there is we took like a quiz to see like what class you are, but it doesn't just do class, it does like subclass as well, so you get a really precise description as to what you are. Yep. I'm an artificer something.
I believe you were a battlesmith artificer.
Yeah.
Battlesmith sounds right.
I think you were a battlesmith.
Yeah.
I was a monster slayer ranger, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pin it to I have permission to pin it to the Let's Have a Chat channel. So if you want to go take the quiz, it's all pinned in there. You can go and take a look and share with us who D&D believes you are as a person.
Yeah.
We need to play a game as those characters.
As ourselves.
As ourselves, but with those
yeah.
persons,
Or as each other. Like, we had to play as, like, someone else.
Oh, no, that could potentially go so wrong, because it will be, like, our interpretation of who the other... people might get offended if you do that. Like, what do you mean?
Fine.
I wouldn't do that.
We're friends. We should be fine.
Yeah.
All in good fun.
A lot of the stuff where it's, like, us doing something we wouldn't expect would just literally end us going... Fair enough.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
There's a whole story, but the players have been dreaming of their characters in characters' lives every time they sleep, until one day a rift opens up and they're in the bodies of the people they've been dreaming of on a quest they didn't sign up to. It's a classic story of only the chosen few can help us all.
Oh shit.
Wow.
That's
God,
a cool
imagine
idea.
if we were still stuck in the fucking nightmare realm that we threw ourselves into that one time.
Oh my god.
We'd still be fighting the massive creature. What was it again? Dreadnought?
Yeah, Dreadnought.
Astral Dreadnought.
Hattie turning up late just to be catapulted between.
It was such an awesome moment. Like, Kaya and Seymour. Was Kaya and Seymour or Snipe and Seymour? Just being able to catapult you over the Dreadnought.
What I love is how
I yeeted Hattie and then they just fucking trampolined her back over the other side.
What I love is how I think in some people's heads it was like this really cool monk moment where she's like, you know, but in reality she's just being ragdoll.
Yeah.
Trying to
fucking
hit.
Gimli being yeeted into the battle, just like, toss me.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't a cool moment.
Carries mod ragdoll Hattie across the way.
When in doubt, feel free to ragdoll Hattie.
There are so many moments that need to be turned into an animatic.
Yeah, before she disappeared from the dream, I imagine just for a split second her image went T-pose and then just like disappeared.
Oh my
gosh.
God, I can imagine it being reenacted in Carrie's mom.
Oh, I just have images of like in a long time in the future when we've like hit level 20 and like we're retelling the story of how we got to where we are today.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then Hattie, the incredible monk, flew across a dreadnought. But in reality, it's just like...
just Snipe in the background going, yeah, throwing her really hurt my arms.
Yeah, I got...
the legacy of Hattie.
Naomi said assert dominant. That's what we need to do in Outer to assert dominance. Just ragdoll Hattie through a porch.
Everyone else just T-poses towards them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly
amazing.
What we need to do. Okay, geez, we have like 20 minutes left. Let's roll some dice.
I've already rolled.
Well,
I should probably make a note of the...
I'll note them down.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled 89 words. English numbers. Still get them wrong.
It's fine.
89.
I know your
89.
pain. I'm currently learning Korean, and they have 2 sets of numbers. They have 2 number systems.
Yeah.
That's life.
I rolled a 49.
I mean, we can't complain with the English language because we have like
Oh yeah, I need to roll for that.
absolutely ridiculous language, which is just like 3 languages in a trench coat. So
59. We're getting all the 9s.
Oh, you're getting all the 9s. We answered 49 before, so we need to get that one from the other list. Yeah, we answered 49 before, so we need to get that from the
newer list.
Yeah.
someone remind me to update the list before next podcast. We will.
I will
I'll
just
send you a
after.
message now.
Oh
Yeah.
god, message 49 is a that's an interesting.
Oh god. Naomi, I will just keep DMing you the numbers that we rolled.
59. This is very interesting. From the new list, they are very interesting questions.
59 we didn't answer from the previous list, so we can still take that one
I love
from.
the maths that goes on with this. I just want all the
59.
audience members to know that I have no idea what's currently going on. Despite the fact I actually run this podcast, these guys just...
Yeah, when Becca says she runs the podcast, what she means is she hits live.
I work out... I don't even
That's
work out
about
the
it.
name of the... I mean, I came up with the I roll therefore I am, and I'm on the precipice of something. I'm on the precipice of insert actual title name here. But
apart from that,
it's these
the rest of
guys
us are just
that-
riffing.
Yeah. The podcast is just an exercise in our improv skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is edited. 49 is okay. We can take every question from the new list. Because I believe Naomi edited them. Jesus.
Now, if you say number, just roll again. I'll update the list.
Yes.
Okay.
Good stuff. I know what all of these. I know what the sentence means. Alas, I don't know what it means in context for. Like, I don't have.
I did see that
access to this list.
No. Yeah, you do. It's on voice chat text.
This is how little I know about what's going on.
I did see that
happy to
fucking
be
message
here, guys.
between Naomi and Carmen as well, of them just saying, "Is English supposed to be the easiest language to learn?"
Yeah, I was so it was a thought that popped up in my head. Like, easiest is the most accessible language right now in the entire world, but is it the easiest to learn in general?
No.
I mean, the American what's his face. There was like a government thing.
There's a lot of American what's-his-faces out there, I'll have to say. You have to be a bit more distinct than that.
Yeah, a little bit more.
They made a list. I don't know who they are. Language people. They made a list of the languages easiest to learn with English as your native language. And it has French and German as like the first few. So I guess it works in reverse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you're in the middle of the list, if your native language is in the middle of the list, going outwards is like going up in difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It
of
also
course different
depends
for
where you are.
everyone.
Yeah, it depends where you are, because like Eurocentric, westernized areas, there are some words that carry over, like even in different languages. Meanwhile, in like the Asia and like more Russian areas, like you've got to relearn everything.
To be fair, Korea is currently battling against westernization, including in their language. They have the majority, or not a majority, but there is a now growing list of words which are just English words with a Korean accent, essentially, and it's kind of getting more and more common and longer. So
it's
See how it goes.
interesting, weird thing.
Yeah.
Language
we should
is
answer
in general just weird.
yeah, we should
Yeah,
answer.
let's answer the question.
We should do some D&D.
49.
49.
What
49.
relationship does your character have with their parents or siblings?
Hattie doesn't have any siblings, as far as she's aware, and she never met her parents. She grew up in an orphanage.
But what is your relationship with her friends? Does she see them as siblings from the orphanage?
But
or does
her
she-
father and mother figures that she has, any or like sibling-esque friends.
Father figures are basically her boss at Candlekeep.
Yeah.
That you've only just recently discovered.
That was a miscommunication between me and Janks, in which we didn't talk to each other about the people that she knows at Candlekeep. But she has like big sibling energy with one of the other avowed monks, and then you guys.
Yeah. What about Kia?
Kia, her parents are dead. She doesn't have any siblings.
Yeah. Okay.
How old is Kia? Because she's a wood elf.
She's the equivalent of like 26, I think. I'm really bad at translating it into like elven age.
That's around 200 years.
Yeah. Very interesting.
A bit.
Kaya has mad only child energy.
You're the classic. You're the textbook example of an only child.
It's always like the worst insult or like most subtle insult someone could give is just in the middle of a conversation turning around to someone and saying, "Are you an only child?" It's just like, it's like,
okay then. No, but what?
I know what you mean by this, and I'm not gonna pretend I'm not hurt. This hurts.
Kaya's also not very close with anyone else in their very large family.
And Snipe.
Parents dead, siblings dead. That's not surprising. They're a couple of decades. They're a couple of decades old.
When they were alive, what was the relationship like?
Just average. Like, sadly, they had a pretty decent life when they were alive.
Sadly.
Yeah.
So
well, they
sad.
had like everything planned, and it was a case of like just wrong place, wrong time, caused everything to come collapsing around, and then random shit to occur. So it was just like average, you know, typical life as life is.
Yeah.
And then
Whole life.
boy, I had this discussion recently with Dave where it's like his parental figure is the main guy in the armory, who's like Timothy, who was a father figure who adopted him, basically. And so he doesn't really... Boy's like this kind of thing where he's been raised a very manly way of looking at things, where it's like, oh, he doesn't want to get overly sentimental, he's not overly emotional, it's just kind of... He sees himself as more of an employee than a son to, like, the main armory.
Yeah.
But he is aware he is adopted, but he doesn't really care that much towards actively going out to find his parents. The only way he would actually want to know who his parents are is so that if he would randomly bump into them, he doesn't look like a fool in front of them.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he's not actively like pursuing to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's situation.
Apparently Neela has a strained relationship with their mother and the people who adopted them later. Neela wants anyone to be their parental figure because they're not used to having anyone.
Oh.
We've got a lot of adopted boys
Yeah.
in Cherry Blossom.
Yeah. Well, Reina. what should I
Let's
say?
say about Reina.
What should I say about her? It's very
I think we've seen it basically.
Yeah. You got their relationship with their mother is very different than the one with their adopted father, basically.
Yeah.
Because her mother wants to keep up the reputations of her own family. So even around Reina, she is very strict, and she loosens up a little bit, but she's usually she's a very strict mother. Her father is like you've seen, and the other side of her family she doesn't know. And then we have her sister, and her sister is like, I believe, 40 years younger than her. Something like that, and she has a pretty decent relationship with her, but she was always more of the child that mother loved, basically, because she was the one who would follow the orders of her mother. So that's for Reina. And Rascal is actually from a pretty big family, and they all live in Crimson Petal. His mother and his father are still alive, as much as he's aware, but he doesn't really talk to them because of the shady business he does. And one of his sisters, he has a very good relationship with her because she basically saved his ass when he fucked up.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have suspected that Rascal would have a big family.
Yeah, it's something. It's not something I came up with like at the beginning when creating him, but it's something I thought about because it's very weird for such a selfish character to have a big family. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those D&D things of like, I come from a very like shady past, and then you get to discover that the parents are actually really wholesome and nice, and they're just like plain out because they're going through a moody teen phase.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Rascal's only like 24, I believe.
Yeah.
He's small and he's young.
Small
and
and young. I'm ready to stab a bitch.
Yeah.
That do be rascal.
Yeah.
Clarity is also adopted. She was begrudgingly taken in by an elven wizard.
Oh.
Yeah, so's Dirk actually. He was kind of adopted by his granddad.
Yeah. Pebble's family is dead.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, technically, they live with the guilt that like she may have killed them.
What?
Oof.
Yeah.
I should just create a character with dead parents and dead siblings, because every character I created has some sort of a family.
Yeah, we need to like Rascal has an Italian mafia-like family. We're gonna meet the grandfather in Candlekeep.
The Godfather.
Could be possible.
His grandfather is the Godfather.
Yeah, you know, it to be honest, it could be possible looking at the history of his family.
Yeah.
Do it. Fucking do it. Do it.
That would be
Sure.
interesting.
I'll talk to Dave about it.
It's
Like,
like,
Yeah.
hi, I'm thinking of being a part of a mafia.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he's basically part of a mafia, and his sister's also part of it. But he doesn't know any other family members that are also part of his of that
Part of the
organization. No.
Yeah. Certainly interesting. Next
My
question.
sister has arrived. I apologise for anything that may happen to them.
59. Oh, does your character value their own best interest more than the party's?
Hattie depends on the day. Kia, no.
That's very Hattie-like.
Yeah. Snipe, probably, because they're interesting to be one where it might be detrimental to the party. So it's a case of like, I should probably solve this myself before asking any help, which obviously has not gone well. But then Boy, yes, he values his own interests over the party, because he's constantly, his mind never really stops. Like, he's always constantly thinking of stuff to do and like how to make stuff in the background
Mm-hmm.
if everything else is going on. He's just there for the ride.
I think in the greater sense, Reina, her interest is like it's how do I phrase this? No, their own value is not in the best interest more than the party's. Reina's very interested and wants to keep the party safe and her friends safe, basically. But she also, if you're talking about the situation with finding her father, that's the moment when her own interest peaks out and takes the lead, basically. And Rascals, yeah. What do I have to say about him? He's his own. He's only focused on himself,
Yeah.
and it might change, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Her siblings just arrived.
They have. They were, I think they almost fell up the stairs, actually, so...
God damn.
Okay.
It's always an adventure living in this household. Kaya, their best interest is usually to protect the party in one way or another.
Yeah.
And I'm at a guess, I think Neela is kind of the same, I think, unless, like, her life is in danger. That's my guess. But she does know when to run if she has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah. What's the question again? A89?
89.
I lost the questions that they are. What is your character's relationship with magic? Are they scared of it, wish to know more about it, indifferent to it?
Wait, what was the question?
What's
Your relationship with magic?
Your character's relationship with magic?
Hattie's kind of, like, interested in it, but she's like, I don't know how this works. It's, like, magic, you know? Like, in the same way, like, here we view, like...
unanswered stuff as, like, being magical.
Yeah, as, like, being mystical. Like, she's like, ooh, I don't know how it works. No one knows how it works.
If Hattie was in our world, she'd be obsessed with, like, Mothman and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she would be the messy
cryptozoologist,
makeup
like, monster
halfway down
hunter.
her face, waking,
Researching.
like, not sleeping, wandering into, like, lectures.
Like
and
an Always
stuff.
Sunny in Philadelphia
Yeah.
meme, like the chord of strings.
Yeah, or like an entire notebook just full with information about different, like, like just see this and this and this, this and this and this, like.
That would be me, technically.
Doesn't
Yeah.
sleep, constantly just watching, like, unsolved crime and, like,
It's just
conspiracy
me.
theories.
What the fuck? Hattie would be me. Oh no. He's on
Ah,
BuzzFeed
Hattie.
Unsolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, BuzzFeed Unsolved. Yeah. I met Ryan and Shane. They're really
Yeah.
tall. Like,
Yes.
everyone's like, oh, Shane's so tall and Ryan's so small. No, Ryan's like a little bit taller than I am.
Ryan's
If not-
same.
all
Yeah,
the
Ryan's
same
just
height
like
as me?
regular same height. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But he,
fun fact.
he's not as short as you think he is. Anyway,
No.
fun
Yeah.
fact. Nice guys, though. Nice guys.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I shoot with magic. I don't know. Well, funnily, for Lost Beyond Cruel Tides for Pebble, my obsession with making that character is that she hates magic and like wants to avoid it.
Ooh.
So it's ironic that like she has to use spells, and I was going to play on the idea that like Pebble hates that everyone's asking her constantly to use spells.
Yeah.
Like passes out traits and all that kind of stuff because she's just a ranger. So I was kind of built on that. Ironically, I've kind of swayed from that for like all the other characters. So,
I mean, I didn't say about Dirk or Kia. Dirk is so fascinated by it. He just wants to learn more and more and more. And Kia is kind of like, yeah, this exists.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say Boy is aware of it. Like Dave always plays on the idea that me and Neela, because we're the magic ones that like have interconnection to the weave, like Boy's aware of it, but he kind of feels like slightly pissed off that it seems to be an exclusive thing that it's very rarely offered to other people, unless like you go to a very prestige school and learn about it, and like not everyone has access to education. So he's always of the case where it's like if he was to invent something, it would be a way for everyone to have an access to magic without being a magic user, or like having to constantly just find magical items.
Yep.
So he would invent that kind of stuff. Like he sees it as more of a mechanical thing, where it's like it's the reason why the majority of his machines works, and he doesn't like that. He would like to make machines that are like self-generating without having to use magic.
Yeah.
And Snipe isn't different. Like it's just it's a way of the world for some people.
It's just another thing in this world.
Yeah.
So Neela, they're actually not a fan of studying magic. They were kind of forced into the wizard life.
Oh.
The wizard life. If they had gone down a different path, they probably would have become something like a divine soul sorcerer or something like that. They have an intrinsic connection to magic, but they have also studied it extensively for very long. Kaya magic works weirdly for bards. I don't know. She uses her own creative energy to cast magic. That's about it. It's completely intuitive for her.
Yeah. I think Reyna has a interesting relationship with magic because as a child she was very interested in learning about it because it always seemed like the cool thing the cool kids do basically. But right now she's happy she has access to it, but she's not quite sure if it's always helpful. And Rascal, well, he uses old Hemocraft magic basically, so he's not interested in the modern magic basically. But he quite likes and enjoys the use of blood magic because it's very different than normal people. Than the usual.
It's kind of like the split between, because it's very odd to kind of differentiate between like magic and science of like a D&D world.
Yeah.
I apologise for my loud typing. I am aware of how loud it is, and I've only realised how much of a problem this new keyboard is now I'm on stream. Wait, do we have another question? Wow, the English language. Do we have another question?
That was the way. No, I think that was it.
That was it.
Well, the background music for some reason is suddenly very loud, and I'm not entirely sure why. Or
Try to turn me down.
Either that or my brain's suddenly just picking up on it more. Either way, I think I will call it a day for the podcast today, because I have work to do today.
Yeah.
Kill me, please.
Nope. Deal with it.
I heard Carmen say Rascal uses emo-craft magic, and honestly fair.
That is his style. I mean, if it's not for the magic, it's for the aesthetic.
Yeah. Because it's called Hemocrafts, I believe, Bloodhunter magic, and it's basically an old form of magic.
Yeah.
That's rediscovered.
Oh, so Rascal's kind of like, I was born in the wrong time period.
Yeah.
It's like I can't think of it like the opposite of a hipster. Like everyone's forgotten about this one thing apart from me. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think because
They're eccentric.
he got the magic because he became part of an organization, but he never would have dived into the type of magic he dabbles in now on itself. Basically, he would never try it out. It only became a part of his life because he fucked up.
Yeah.
So he was never, as a child, he was never really interested in magic. He was always like, well, that's too complicated for my liking. Let's just stay away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call it a day here, I think.
Yeah.
Unless anyone has kind of like a intrinsic moral lesson that you want to imprint on our audience.
Explain what the fuck you're doing before you do anything.
Yeah.
Especially talking to Hattie.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not normally the day for our podcast. Just as a little round-uppy thing. Normally we stream the podcast. What time do we do it? What day? Today is a Thursday. We normally do it.
We usually do it Wednesday.
Yeah.
2:30.
Yeah.
And our D&D streams happen Saturday at. This is all GMT, by the way.
8 my time, 7 your time. I
Yeah,
believe.
7-ish, which is
6,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck.
Yeah, it's 7
o'clock
call.
GMT.
Yeah, and then half
Yeah.
past 7 we
Then
start.
Usually half past. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then Sundays it is 7:30. That's Road to Outro, 7 p.m. GMT. Crimson Petal, Sunday, 7:30 p.m. GMT.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
Sunday we start half an hour later.
Yeah.
No, it's 8.
Yeah,
your
8.
time.
We start 8 at 8.
Yeah.
8, yeah.
We start like half an hour later. We start on Sunday. We start the call when we usually on Saturday start streaming.
Just keep an eye out on
Yeah.
the fucking channel on the
Join.
weekends, is all we can say.
Click the little hearts to follow and get a notification when we go live
Join
because
our
we don't know the
Discord.
time.
And you will find out when
Yeah.
we go live.
Yeah.
We should really set up a schedule.
We
Yeah.
should. I think it's on my to-do list of things to just sort out the widgets.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thingy things down below on
Yeah.
our channel. So at some point those will be updated by yours truly. Or Dave if he sees this and is like, no, I'm doing it. Dave has a wonderful habit of you mention doing something and then you'll wake up the
He
next
do
day
it,
and he's
doesn't
like,
it?
I've done it. And you're like, oh,
Thank you.
thank
Okay.
you so much. But
Yeah.
I put aside away today to do that, so I'll just go and cry over my life, I guess. Sit down with the realization.
I put this job
of
in to
my
like
existence.
distract me from my everyday life, but thank you for like giving me a chance to not be distracted.
Also, we have a YouTube channel if you want to watch the VODs back.
Yeah.
Yes.
People, if you want to catch up, we basically started uploading on episode 40 of Road to Ultra, our Saturday campaign, onto our YouTube channel, and the entire Crimson Petal campaign is also on the YouTube channel.
And you can watch a backlog of these absolute chaotic messes of a podcast. I'm
Yep.
so sorry, everyone. And Naomi, what do you mean this was far more interesting than listening in psych class? No, go work. Go study hard. Work. You're meant to be. You're
Yeah,
at
you-
uni for a reason.
You
are
travelled
missing this
You travelled
podcast.
across the world to
Yep.
study, and you're listening to us.
To this.
Yeah, you missed this podcast so you could go to class. Don't then miss class so you can watch the
It's the
podcast.
podcast.
Okay, well I am going to call it a day here. Thank you everyone who came and watched. I'm going to slow down a couple of seconds for you to click the link of the YouTube thing. And just as I say that, I just realised that it will stay there even after I end the stream. So thank you for coming and watching, and I will see you guys in D&D.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
almost a brilliant ending. I'm so sorry.
You gotta workgshop it before it gets
Yeah,
perfect.
I do. Yeah.